Bienvenida, mi adorada Sirena Sacra, Amy Mermaid Isakov, beloved sister, empowered transmitter of the Pachacuti Mesa tradition, arts of ritual transformation and spiritual evolution. I adore you, sister. Thanks for showing up to our time together.
Oh, my radical pleasure and honor, Maestro. Gracias.
So, you are a sanctioned teacher of the Pachacuti Mesa tradition of cross-cultural shamanism.
Yes.
I have a couple of questions to illumine those listening to this conversation and also inspire them to be practitioners at a level that is going to be aligned with the Tanipaitacha, the age of re-encounter. It's part of our great work. So I share the fact that these questions are a transmission as well as informative as to who you are. Mm. The first question I have for you, my dear sister, is what initially drew you to the practice of Pachacuti Mesa tradition shamanic arts?
Well, I feel that I was initially drawn to these arts by their universal nature. I first discovered your teachings on the Shift Network, and I saw a practice called universal shamanism that had an evolutionary base. And I encountered these words on a computer screen like a magnet. And it was at a time when I had finally given up the need for any teacher. I had released the need for any path and was totally committed to just having everything I needed. And I had all these different pieces. I had studied shamanism before. I'd studied evolutionary spirituality, found classical enlightenment meditation. And I thought, okay, I'll just work with all these pieces and I'm going to figure it out. Well, turns out you did that for me. And you put it all together and created this incredible path. And it really called me as much as I felt attracted to it. It felt like really a two-way street of finally finding a home, not only for my belief system, my structure, and all of the pieces of reality, of awakened, soul-animated reality and evolutionary truth. Not only did all those things find a home, but I also had a home for all of the little stones that I had been collecting and shells and little pieces of nature that felt like lifelines in a world that is constantly trying to tell us that what really matters is money or job or title, and or even a certain level of education gives people value. And I have known throughout my life that there's magic in the world and that these little talismans from nature can bring me to it. So finding the Pachacuti Mesa tradition was coming home at many, many levels.
Beautifully expressed. I love your dreaming before you became exposed to the Pachacuti Mesa tradition that called to yourself many of the relatives that integrate into the altar ground of the Mesa, such as your stones, your animal allies, your vegetable allies or plant medicines, and human-made items of high ceremonial value that you've been collecting through your own exploration of these various other psycho-spiritual disciplines before you encountered the term universal shamanism that rattled you to the soul and made it easy for you to step into the zone that you know is so necessary as an evolutionary space for humankind as a whole. Shamanism, as you know, my love, and as you beautifully shared, is a very universal and integrative path. It has to be holistic. And with a person with your extraordinary curiosity and intellectual prowess as well as emotional desire to serve, it is the home that that you knew before you even incarnated. And I love you so much for showing up and partaking of our great work together.
It's an honor.
Love you.
A joy. Love you
Well,
too.
let's continue with your story. In what most significant manner has your life changed, transformed, or evolved as a result of being a sanctioned teacher of the Pachakuti Mesa tradition?
Well, this sanctioning, this acknowledgement and upliftment to teach this path with your blessing and such an incredible community has been an honor unlike many in my life. I perceived, I followed a lot of different paths, and none of them ever came to completion or even leveling up, including academia. I felt alienated and like something was always missing, and I never had any sort of piece of paper or title or anything to get behind. And it's a funny thing because the experience of being a sanctioned teacher is something that I feel actually is behind me. It's something that supports me in showing up to finally be able to create a space where everything that I've been studying over the past 15, 20 years has an outlet and a purpose. It has also a structure in which I can trust and rely in myself as the lineage to really stand in the fullness of my own divinity and humility and hopefully humor when I get a body of students in a room around their own mesas. There is a feeling of, you said before how there's a way that I have recognized this as my home before I even incarnated, and that's what it feels like. It feels like a trans-temporal experience of being able to re-sow and help people remember these wisdoms and connections that are lifelines of our times. And so, so much has changed. My whole life has become reoriented around how I can support these teachings, how I can support others in integrating these teachings. And there's a great sense of clarity, purpose, and community that I feel by being able to carry the distinction of being a sanctioned teacher of this lineage.
So therefore, your process of evolution as a divine soul on this beloved Pachamama had begun way before you became a sanctioned teacher, is what I'm hearing you say. And by being sanctioned through the lineage itself, gave you the freedom to be the lineage rather than just an extension of it. Because of the inclusivity of so many medicines that this path entails, you have the creative space to design your own style of transmitting what you learn from the lineage from a place of it being a true extension of yourself as well. So, absolutely. As within, so without, leads to as above, so below. All that is born from the within, which is the divine wholeness that is your essential nature. And as a teacher, that shines through in everything you say, in the stillness you hold, in the words you speak, in the rituals that you perform in service to our 7 generations. And I love you and thank you so much for it, sister.
Well, thank you for teaching so generously and inspiring me as a teacher to do the same. I really hope I can continue to do it the justice it deserves.
You took the first step. You know going back. was like the check game, remember?
Yes. Thank you, Don Oscar.